Hiya Mark, great to meet up with you yesterday and do some further work on your game. Things are really starting to line up well and progress nicely, and we're finally getting to the position that we want to in the goal swing. You're starting to see some nice changes, and I think this is a great comparison for you here from June 2012 on the far left, August of 2013 in the centre, and then yesterday, so that's February 2014 on the far right. Bear in mind, when the footage was taken on the 12th of June 2012, we'd been working together for about 6 months, and things had improved from where they were, but you can see by the footage shortly that they were nowhere near where we wanted them. And the footage on the far right from yesterday is really getting it to the position we want to going into the season, and the way that you're trying to achieve that. And what we worked on yesterday was to try and hit the medium to small push out of the push spectrum. So we've got the cane down there for your target line, and we've got the medium push. We've got a glove under the left arm, pressure point 4, trying to feel that about 3 or 4 levels down, so midway through the left bicep, and really squeeze it and keep it under throughout the golf swing to tidy up the finish a little bit, and to encourage the hips to slide, turn and extend at a more incremental rate during the downswing. So we've run these through now and take a little look at how you've progressed in, well, about 18 months. Step it down, stop it at P2. P2 usually looks a little bit underplane in regards to the golf club. Main reasons for that is we've got very little cocking of the wrists from P1 to P3 really, or even P4. We've talked about that in the past, so I've not really got a major issue with that. I think the path of the hands is really good. I think the right arm now is starting to soften just a touch on the way back, which is good as well. We've got the right leg straightening a little bit sooner than what we're seeing here in 2012. I think you're getting more comfortable with the fact that that right leg can straighten as much as you like really on the way back. P3, we've got the hands in a little bit more. We've got the shoulders working down a little bit better as well, so the pitch of the shoulders is a little bit better, partly because of the way the right leg is straightening. And what I like about the footage on the far right is by tightening up pressure point 4, we just eliminate that little bit of lift at the top that gets the club above the elbow plane line. So we're looking a little bit tidier at P4. There are some better backswings than what we see on the far right that you made yesterday, where the club was much more in line. But this is the best downswing you made, without a shadow of a doubt, and that's the key point that I want to get across. So we've always been relatively happy with P4, even though we're now getting in a much tighter position, much more compact, hands are on plane. Pressure point 5's also improved as well, so the gap between the right elbow and the side has started to diminish. Right leg straightening much better than it did before. So all that stuff's going on, that's great. But the change of direction was the thing that we were really struggling with. From the top on the far left, the right knee would flex very early. The right hip would work forward. The left arm will be pulled out. There's a lot of flexing forward going on. And as a result, the hands stay above plane and the club stays above plane. Just unsynchronize those. So we've got too much turning too soon, a lot of flexing of the right knee, a lot of flexing of the pelvis, keeping the club above plane as we transition. We've been working on this quite a lot, and it was starting to get better. The hands were getting onto elbow plane, and the shaft was starting to get on the elbow plane line as well. The left arm's angled in a little bit more. The right knee's not flexing quite as much. And then what we've got now is a much better move. We've been working on the butt of the club, working down more. And that's achieving a left arm that's in more at P5, a shaft that's below the elbow plane. And one of the key factors here is keeping that shaft below the right shoulder during the transition. If we then play that down to P6, club, sweet spot, still on elbow plane, coming in quite steep. Club dropping under elbow plane slightly, so we were starting to see a shallowing out of the angle of attack as well on flight scope with this. And now the shaft dropping even more under, and the angle of attack that you're producing yesterday was fantastic. You were sort of down 3, anywhere between 2, 3 and 4 down with your 6 iron. You're averaging out at about 3 down, which is fine. The direction of the swing has changed completely. We're now directing the swing to the right on occasion, which was never something that we could do before. And as we discussed yesterday, I don't mind the swing being slightly to the left with a short or mid iron, but certainly progress being made. Right knees flexing much less. Hips are less open coming into impact. There's less flexing forward in the neck coming into impact. The butt of the club would then climb very steeply, and there'd be a big separation between the right and left hand through impact, with a lot of flex being maintained in this right knee. Shoulders very, very open, right shoulder spinning forward. We've now got a little bit less flex in the right knee. We've got a little bit less separation between the forearms, so the butt of the club's not climbing as quickly. We've now got hardly any separation between the forearms. We've got a much straighter right knee. The shoulders are lining up much better. The hips are opening, but are less open than they were. So the sliding, the extending, and the turning of the hips is matched up much, much better. Less club face rotation through impact. Exiting higher. Keeping the arms on the rib cage. Controlling the right foot. There's a lot of things changing there, Mark, but more than anything, I'm just going to take you back to just post impact. Get rid of all the lines. Just look at the differences there between what the right knee's doing. Very flexed, still a little bit flexed, much straighter. And also the separation between the right hand and the forearm, much less. So all in all, a much more efficient move through the ball. Much better at P6. If we get you to 5.5, the differences are quite stark. And then if we progress them down a little bit further, much shallower approach to the golf ball, and just really just less flexion in that through swing with the lower body. And the worrying thing is what you commented that yesterday, that you seem to be hitting the ball further when you do this. So God knows how far that thing's going to be going when I play with you next. I'm going to be about 100 yards behind you rather than the usual 75. So great work, mate. Keep it up. The transition from 4 to 5 is massively improved. The rest of it's just dropping into place really, really nicely. Like I said, looking forward to 2014. Let's get off to a really fast start and get some wins on the board early doors. Well done, keep up the good work.